God we trust.
Hey, in God we trust.
Hey, who got the faith?
Hey, you got the faith.
Yeah, I got the faith. Do you got the faith?
Yeah, I got the faith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in God we trust.
Hey, in God we trust.
Keep that faith in your head high. Yeah. Hey, in God we trust. What do you think?
Hey, what do you think?
Not talking to money, I'm talking to God that be keeping me straight.
He keeping me
This life
straight.
could be gone in a blink. Was living with nothing and no kitchen sink. Shower water came from tears and whenever it rained. Out of Dodge, living in a Dodge. And the only thing I had was faith. I was worried about the repo. I was living in a sinkhole. Looking at others and how they was living their life was the secret like Brink's Code or Victoria. We living in war times, but I always had with me the heart of a warrior. So I never quit. And I had to live in that deficit. But nothing's indefinite. So I pick up my head and I change up my etiquette. Keep my faith high, it was evident. Not worry about physical, I'm still alive, that's the evidence. He built me up, so I'm never breaking down easy like sediment. I'm relaxed as a sedative. Is you learning your lesson yet? This right here is my testament.
Yeah, I keep my faith and I keep my head high.
When I'm feeling down, I stare at the desk.
I stare at the dead sky.
The cloud inside, right beside me,
He's fighting these things. He's fighting these things.
Yeah, he made him let God we trust. What do you think?
Hey, what do you think?
I'm counting the blessing before I count money. It's part of the rank.
It's part of the rank.
Hit my heart with a stake, cause I'm a wolf. I'm howling at moons. Holy Ghost, he didn't enter the room.
Hello, hello, hello. I am back. What is going on, Kosho? Appreciate it. Let's go. Siberia, thank you. I had a great holiday. It was really nice. Got some time off. Went over to Ireland and just had a really, really nice time over there. Great time. Want to give a shout out here to Data Picard as well as JVAS21 for the follows recently. Tonight on this episode of Across the Board, we'll be doing a AMA. So if you have any questions about racing, tools, strategies, things like that, let me know. I'll do my best to answer them for you. But that being said, nothing said tonight is financial advice. These games can change very quickly, as well as strategies, pricing, and things like that. Keep in mind, too, we all have slightly different variations of our goals and what we want to achieve and how we go about achieving them. So just because I talk about something in some way doesn't mean it's the only way or the best way to do it, but it's merely how I personally would consider approaching it. RHDC says, welcome back. Thank you so much. Happy to be back. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's dive in. So tonight I'm going to start with two updates that I want to talk about to my tools, which I think are going to do really kind of speed up your analysis, depending on how you kind of like to look at things. And then after that, we'll get into some questions. There was a question over on X about how to get started today. What would be my strategy if I were to do so with a budget of 160,000 Derby? So we'll definitely talk about that. I'll be going through step-by-step process using my tools and how I would approach that. All right, so let's dive in. Let's check this out. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight is an update to horsepower, which is my horse racing tool. It can be found by just going into my website, mjinformatics.com. And from here, I'm going to pull up an older horse of mine just because I think it'll help illustrate the point a little bit better. So I'm going to go to first, actually, I'm going to expand out this date window. We'll go all the way back. Excuse me. And then as soon as that loads, it's going to take forever because it's loading in a ton of races. And then we'll go. Whew. All right, so we're expanding out our date range here. You don't have to do this for this example, but I'm just kind of illustrating a point. You can do this with current horses. You won't have to change or update anything. Oh, Chad, I am choking on this water. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is pull up my old horse Jishin. And I've reviewed a bunch of horses, on here before in the past, and I kind of walked through a process. Well, I introduced something new recently that I think is really going to speed up this process and just do so and kind of get you to where you want to be in fewer clicks. So I've got 66 races here for Jishin. And just kind of doing my normal analysis, I would, first select the grade so we can get more accurate fleet figure and speed charts down below. But here you can see, okay, I've got 4, 5, 7, 8, 11, and 6. And I would kind of go through, I'd look at win place show. I would look at, the fleet figure percentiles and kind of how the horse is running as well as profit. And again, the thing I say I look for is, 3 greens. And then here, this kind of gets a little muddier because we have, varying performance across different, track conditions as well as different race types. And here, actually, this illustrates this really well, but you can kind of see the live age here, that as this horse aged, you can see the fleet figure dropped as well as then the performance shot up, which in this case is a bad thing. We want very low numbers here for the finish percent. You can kind of see how it hit its aging in a way near the end of its racing career. So, but the big thing I want to do here now, instead of walking through all these steps, you can really speed this up. 2 things are kind of going on right now. One in the background is that the injuries are automatically set to false. So it's taking those out of the equation. When you look at like speed and fleet figure performance down here, it's going to be factored out of it already. So don't have to worry about anything there. One less thing for you to click. But if you want to really dial in this horse and do so quickly, it's pretty apparent here. But just this new podium filter, brand new. All you have to do is change that from all to true. And you are immediately going to see all of the distances and race types in which your horse podium. So you can see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I look here, I can see, okay, 1.52, 1.7, 8 got lucky there, but I can see, okay, wow, 4 and 5 now are extremely strong, better than that 2.5, better than that 2. We have a huge sample size here. And then I can further narrow this down and say, well, I just want to look at 5. And so now I'm just looking at the top 2 distances in just races where I podiumed. And basically with one click and then one slider, sometimes you don't even need that slider. I can now see, okay, yielding and soft are ideal. And even sloppy is pretty good. But if we race on fast or good, that's probably not ideal. We'll filter those out. So I know immediately when I podium, how I podium, I need to focus on left turning turf, yielding soft, sloppy. I can see that this number being at 25% is very good. So allowance, handicap, and stakes were all pretty solid for me there and did well in non-benchmark races. And if we look at this kind of age over time, pretty strong. Speed was very strong, as well as fleet figures. So really, it's a way of kind of supercharging and like super speed running through analysis. Again, just hitting that podium switch. And you can really just immediately see where your horse was successful. And then taking it a step further by looking at, strongest positions, strongest finish percents, and really narrowing down the track types and things quickly to get you the most ideal conditions for your horse as soon as possible. So there's kind of release number 1. The other one is on the breeder board. This one's a little more complicated. But I've got wrap up here. I believe I've talked about that before. It's just kind of it looks at the profit per race, per horse. And if you have a super high wrap, that means you produce a lot of strong, profitable runners. But the one I want to talk about now is opportunity rank. And again, both of these are kind of beta, I'll say, not financial advice. But this opti rank or this opportunity rank, it looks at profit, entry fee, races, and the amount of offspring to identify a potential opportunity of quality studs. By no means is it the best stud, but it's a way to identify studs that have produced strong runners. And so the few ways you can approach or kind of dissect the opti rank. One is looking at the number of offspring. So if you have, a high opti rank, and just like 1 through, I think it's like 1100 right now. Then like if you're in the top 100, that's very, very good. And you have a lot of horses and you're in a top 100, that is excellent. If you have very few horses and you're in, let's say, again, hypothetically, the top 100, that's more of a chance, but also could be an opportunity because you don't know how that's going to play out long term. If it was, a very specific breed that led to it, but this can also open up the door for lower grade horses, which are often cheaper to breed with, that, hey, maybe there could be an opportunity, hence the name, with that breed. So if we look at this, you've got horses in here and it's zoomed in, but you've got Benedict up here. rank of 12. You've got Prime Time. You've got Agua Egg Eclipse. You've got Bear Ghost. You've got Rose of Zion. You've got Indian Wells, Saturn. I mean, some pretty solid high grade horses, but you've also got some horses in here that are not very high grade. Like this, Latvia. Latvia has one offspring who is crushing it, 39% win rate with about 21,000 in profit. Across 38 races. So you can say, wow, like, okay, Latvia, probably going to be a cheaper stud if available. Not many offspring, but the one offspring that's there had a really strong performance. Obviously, take time to dig into why that could be. Don't just take this at face value. Take some time to kind of dig into it. But hey, that could be something of interest for you in the way you pick out your stable. Pick out the future of your stable. I get so many questions about breeding selection and how I go about doing it. And this is, I think, for me, one way to look at it and to consider it. Again, is this the end all be all? No, it is an opportunity. It was named very intentionally, I'll say. So those are kind of the two big updates I wanted to talk through with you. I used... I'll say some of these horses in the top 10 are horses that I have bred with. Lorber and McFly being two of them that come to mind. I think even bred with Mandalay. I could be wrong there. So definitely check that out. Consider that when breeding time comes around. Let's see, what else did I want to go through? Okay, so chat, if you have questions, feel free to unload them. I see visitors are kind of piling in slowly but surely. Viewers, I should say. So definitely let me know questions you have, horse reviews, explanations. But I want to dig into this question right here. I'm reading from Abstract Stables. That was over on X. And geez, apologies. I wasn't even following. Now I am. So they asked basically, if you were starting today, what sort of strategy would you start with? And I asked them, my response to that was kind of like, what is your budget? And they said around 2K. Would be interesting how the strategy changes as the budget increases. So 2K budget would be 160,000 Derby. And I'm going to kind of play this like it's myself in a way, because I don't fully know their goals or what exactly they're thinking with, what they want to do or what their like long-term plans are. So what I'm going to do to start out is I'm going to hop over to my horse hub. And I'm going to go over two approaches that I would consider. So the first one, when I think about if I were to come into this game and start over new, would be to look at or consider longevity. I have I would say personally, I have a long-term view of photo finish. And this is something that I would like to be a part of for a very long time. So to me, that says I want to look for a female, because that can allow me to get offspring, to expand my stable quickly. So the first thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go to gender in the horse hub. I'm going to say equals female. So then the other thing I want to consider is the preference. And that would be something, again, that's really up to you. Just for myself and just kind of the sake of what I'm looking at here, I'm going to look at left dirt. So instead of equals, I'm going to say starts with. So this is going to be left dirt soft, left dirt firm. Then the other thing I want to consider, again, this is for me personally, is direction. I want greater than or equal to 2. Condition greater than or equal to, we'll do 2. And then surface, did that kind of out of order, but greater than or equal to 2. Again, this is for me personally. And we're actually gonna zoom out a bit here just so we can see all of the columns. We'll go one more. And so it's going to further filter it down. And then so this is kind of like my longevity entry. Female. This is my personal choice for horse preference, my personal choice for direction, condition, surface. And then the other thing I would look at is pregnant, and I would say equals true. And so then what this is going to do then, or kind of the way I'm thinking through this right now, is that by going with a pregnant horse, I'm essentially going to have a breed already paid for. So in a way that's going to like factor into my purchase decision. And then I'll have a kind of a horse ready, kind of kicked off, ready to go. Won't be able to run right away, but that's okay. We're going to talk about that a little later. And then I'm going to say price here with a budget of 160, and this would change depending on kind of your initial budget. If you're starting out with a lot smaller budget, like the same type of strategy works, but the allocations I think would be very different. So I'm looking at 100,000 right now. Leave 60,000 for breeding in the future, and also for racing. And really just to, I'd say this is conservative and to keep my options open. And then for grade, I want this to, we'll start with S. I don't think we'll see too much. We got one. But I ran some numbers earlier right before stream, and I see a lot of value personally right now in the market for A grade females. I looked at median prices by grade, and there's kind of the B range to A minus is very close. A minus to A goes up about 10 grand. And then in Derby, and then A to A plus, things get a little wonky depending on how you slice that. And then once you get into S's, the prices just shoot up astronomically. So I think there's great value in A. If you're starting out with a much smaller budget, I would look at like A minus, A. But we'll start with this just to see what we have here. So here's an LDF 222 female, age 3. So we'll have like great longevity in terms of breeding potential. It is retired. We'll go ahead and refresh this. Let's just take a look. So then go look at bloodline, and I'd look at, consistency of performance across the bloodline, as well as is the horse inbred. So PFPs aren't loading. Okay, there we go. 5. So 7 out of 16. Morningwood looks solid. Some concerns over malachite. Some concerns over copper greenwood. 5, 7. That's not great, but not bad. And then 1 out of 3. Okay, that's fine. So like I don't feel super strong about this. Look at no. So this would be the very first one, obviously, with that age of 3. So then so we can go a few ways with this. We could bump it because you won't be able to race that for a while. So let's say if we just bump this up to 120. See what we get. We get Street Sweeper at 100. I think I goofed up that filter. Bloodline. There's a 1 of 1. Okay, so nothing related. 9 out of 22. 11 out of 25. 5 out of 16. And okay, so like this one to me, I see better performance in the bloodline. The price is more. It's an S minus. And it is age 3. So this could be one that I would possibly consider. But then if we bump this down and we just say A, and then if I want to sort by, I'm going to sort by podium rate. And we're going to look at, let's see what Bear Mary is like. Age 3, 75. Take a look. Look at Bloodline, Shawnee Bear, and Hail Mary 5. That's 7 out of 25. Yeah, I mean, like this one, to me personally, again, you don't know, and I'm not claiming to know how this is going to end up, but this to me, I think is a little bit more exciting. It's a little bit above that, or actually, it's kind of below that medium price range. Because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5 out of 9 stars. Median price range for a female across all ages, or I guess of breeding age, 3 through 14, with at least 6 out of 9 track boosts. For an A plus is 89,000. This one's going for 75,000. I see some potential in here, I guess I'll say. Again, not financial advice, but this would be a horse I would consider building a stable around. And again, it's very simple, non-one-of-one bloodline. You're getting in early generation, so it gives you like a lot of different kind of vertical and horizontal ways that you can go. It's an A plus grade. Hopefully you can get to S minus very soon. If we look at the horse itself, 15 out of 22 races. Bred mare with Hulk. So let's see what you're getting at A plus with an S minus bloodline, and there's no 1-of-1 in here either. Which Lefty Lucy does not look great on here, but only 2 races. Diablo, awesome. And then this horse, 5 out of 19. So you're going to get basically an offspring built into this, again, with low generation, no 1-of-1. I just think that, the pregnant mares, Street Sweeper, I would say, sorry, not Street Sweeper, the one we were just looking at, Bear Mary, would be intriguing to me. If you want to go lower, let's take a look here. Here's an A at 39. No 1-of-1. 7 out of 20. 12, 15 out of 35. 7, 10 out of 21. Check out some of the offspring. Okay, so here we have like a handful of offspring. And another way you can check this is if you go back to, we'll keep this open. We'll go back to the breeder board in a new tab here. And we'll look at Maganda Ann. Again, chat, if you have questions, let me know. We are officially in the AMA. Maganda Ann. Perfect. So now I can kind of get a breakdown like, okay, well, some of these were not super profitable, podium decently, but, you'd have to check in how they were run. But if we look at Lord Strange, 16 races, 18% win. Like, wow, that's awesome. And who is the most recent breed? If you look at this, scroll through. Deep Eclipse. So it's a 4,800 blue breed. Also non 1-of-1. Deep Breath and Eclipse. Very high boosts, 4,800. So I think that's, again, like super, super interesting. Has not bred with that horse yet. And if we look at then, what is this horse going for? 39,000. So huge price differences. Again, if you're approaching with different opportunities, you're getting a higher boost there. Track preferences, sorry. S minus temper, S minus speed. I would consider these as 2 interesting options if you're looking at left dirt. Again, not financial advice. KC Racing asks over on Kick, what are your thoughts on buying a stud for in-house breeding? Worth it or better to keep options open with the stud market? So to me, that really comes down to weighing or balancing your current stable and kind of where you're at. If you're like a lot of B grade or like low A grade horses, and you could get something that's higher grade, really just checks all of the boxes for you and your strategy, and you can get them at a price that, you could breed with them in just a handful of breeds. Because, excuse me, if you keep hitting that over and over again, and you're basically going to have then in your stable a lot of horses that are all related because all come from that same horse. So I prefer to lean on the side of buying on the stud market versus in-house breeding. But if you have something great in-house already, go for it. If you're looking to buy something to bring in-house, if you can race it, awesome, get some money back there. And then within, a breed or two, and then you could look at maybe selling one of those 2 breeds. really comes down to the economics of like, what are the current horse prices or an estimated grade, track preferences, lineage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How much did you pay for it? Can you get any money out of racing it? Like, those are the kind of the different factors I would weigh or consider. I don't think it's a bad strategy. I think it's a little harder to manage. Whereas if you just breed with the stud barn, obviously you know what you're going to get, how much you're going to pay. Great question though, Casey. Great question. So here we have, again, just left dirt, two options that I myself would consider if I were to start today and had that budget. Here's, one a lot more expensive. Here's one a lot cheaper, comparatively. So then the other option, kind of the other approach to take. And so, okay, let me finish this one. So if I were to get in, I make my account, let's say I buy one of these two horses, and again, I can't guarantee that the offspring will be great. No talk about that. But I see, some potential opportunity there. What I would then do is, crank out those offspring, take remaining budget, put that towards breeding, and I would take my trainer horse and I would run that as much as possible to understand the game, with no investment, because you get that horse for free. You can run that horse for free. Learn the different kind of, learn patience with race entry. That would be my biggest tip then. Once you can get that dialed in and get that down, your horses that you've bred will be of age. And you can go ahead and hit the track. So maybe I'd even consider getting both of these. You have two different archetypes, different ages. One has bred at least one time successfully. And again, look into offspring, look into their actual race performance to see how they've done, see if they were misraced or not. And go from there. The other approach, and then you have some derby left to kind of play with. Do you want to look for a cheap racer? So the other approach is, hey, I just want to get into this game. Maybe I have a shorter term view, which I do not, but just taking kind of a different approach is, I would look at, we'll do surface, to condition, to direction, to, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, let's do price, less than or equal to, we'll do 25,000. And then I'm going to sort by podium rate, which I already am. And so I see, and we'll do left dirt as well, just for the sake of condition contains LD. And then let's say, because I'm looking for a racer, I want to go age, less than or equal to 4. Maybe we'll do 3, because we still got 41 horses. Gets down to 36 horses. A lot of this looks unproven, so we'll kick out LD. We'll just look kind of at everything. All right, so we got Crown It at 12,000, A- RTS, 1 race, but a podium. So like, that's not a great sample size for me to consider. This one is kind of interesting. Ancient Neptunia, just because it is a little bit of a larger sample size. Let's take a look at this horse. So I'm going to look at bloodline. I'm going to look at, any considerations here. It doesn't look like there's any 1 of 1 in here. For 6,500, it's an A horse. I'm going to plug this horse into, we're going to go to horsepower. And we're going to say Ancient Neptunia. Without even doing, the grade filter, what I'm going to do here is first thing I'm going to do is just switch on podium. 21 races. So we got 21 out of the 22 races in. So 11, 9, 10, 12. You look at just races where it podiumed. 11, 10, 9. So that kind of, again, gets some of those outliers out. We've got 4 races here. Position 1.75 finishes strong, finishes a little stronger at 10, but hasn't won there yet. Won every single race at 11. And this is a 3-year-old horse. So like I'm now going to narrow this down and just say, hey, let's just look at 11. We can keep 12 there because it's not part of it. But yeah, 9 out of the 12,000 profit came from 11. And we can look at, okay, so yielding, soft, and sloppy all look pretty strong here. 2 were in the maiden and 2 within a stakes. Looks like it did a little stronger there. And I'll switch the grade on now. We can watch those balls jump. That's a fun thing to say on stream. And boom, they shoot up. So yeah, speed's running well. Fleet figures decently solid. 18% just crushing there. And here you can see the individual races where it podiumed. So stakes, maiden, large fields second, third, maiden 1, stakes 2. It's like this horse could be fun. RTS 11 furlong. Again, I can't guarantee any success with this necessarily. But at 6,500, it looks like there could be some sort of opportunity here, potentially. Question in chat. Let's see, we got what are some current thoughts on current and growing supply versus demand? What are some of your suggestions for the team to remedy the situation? Good question, Siberia. So the what I would say is, I mean, supply. So like we're gonna hit. I mean, we're a while out from hitting kind of that critical mass where horses start retiring or like being sent off to wherever digital horses go when their time has come. So I mean, the demand is, or the supply is going to continue to grow. I think pretty strong. I think, again, not financial advice, but I can see prices falling a bit still. And it, I'm not terribly worried about it. Like we're building also a supply to support demand. And even with I'll say the current supply exceeding the demand, we're still seeing high amounts of entries. We're still seeing a very healthy racing ecosystem. The flywheel, in my opinion, not financial advice, is still going strong. So I'm not terribly worried about it. And I just think it creates the opportunity for the hardest thing to do in Web3, which is, marketing and acquisition. But I think, that door is starting to open. I'm excited to see what comes out of the Derby, and where things go from there. But, once that kind of gets a little bit bigger and a little more out there, I think we'll start to see things normalize a bit. So I don't really have any suggestions for the team. I think, again, racing seems healthy from what I've seen in Twitter and X, people talking about it, and just various charts. And, yes, prices are down, and values are down, but, for me personally, like I'm in a very fortunate position where I can, unfortunately, I could lose everything tomorrow, or it could all go to zero and I'm going to be fine. Like I could walk away and be fine. I realize that isn't the case for everyone. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to build. I'm here to learn. I'm here to discover. I'm here to, interact and meet with amazing people. And for me personally, like I've achieved that. And I want to continue to achieve that and work towards that. So I have no suggestions at this time. Yes, prices are going down. Could they recover? Sure. Could they also go down more? Absolutely. I'm kind of taking a middle of the road there. But yes, I will definitely say that supply is definitely exceeding demand at the moment. I think it just comes with time. It comes with marketing. It comes with growth, which is, and again, the hardest thing to do in Web3 gaming by far, in my opinion. I've seen some great projects fall because they could not get the market, or they thought the market was there when it really wasn't. And I think there's definitely a market here for this, in my opinion. It's just growth getting there. I know the team is looking at expanding out into other countries more and getting stronger presences there. I think that's going to do a lot. So I just think in time. Right now, I'm just hanging back and enjoying the ride. So let's take a look. What do we do here? So here's one. Here's a 9 out of 12. Oh, the handicap 2. So we looked at 11, 8th out of 12. Handicap. Let's look at this. So now, if we go back to podium, send this back to all, we'll look at 11. So 4 races podiumed. And when it does podium, it podiums strong. So so it's about just under 50% podium. Still profitable there. Average position is 4. We'll expand that out. So we're going to go to podium false because I want to see what that looks like. This will give us a better idea. All right, so podium false, handicap and stakes. And looks like one of those was a benchmark, which did not do well in. There's also one raced on a good track. So you can kind of start to see some of these outliers of like, okay, there's the good there. There's that benchmark. Are those the same race? That's a good question. That's got to be it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So this to me, it was not a good combo. So it would be about, I would say, with right race selection, about a 50% podium rate, which not bad. Again, for 6,500, is it worth rolling the dice on? That's up to you. The choice is yours. But that's when asked the question, how would I approach the game today? Start with females because I have a long-term view of the game. Try and get at least one solid one. In my opinion, what would be a solid one? If you can get to, awesome. Run your trainer, understand the mechanics of the game, and then make sure you have some derby left over for racing. Depending on, again, breakdowns, if you can get kind of that first horse or two and you feel good about having derby left over for racing, for breeding, and just kind of for at least 2 or 3, let's say 3 or 4 generations, I would consider then throwing some derby into crown and start staking that and starting getting some returns on the track. What other questions do we have tonight, chat? Ninja says, one day, guys, one day I'll come flying into PF. Love it, Ninja. Love it. Good questions, though, Siberia. Appreciate that. Again, so use podium. Check out we'll start by price. What's available on the market. And again, basically everything that I've done with my success in photo finish was either done in an Excel sheet. It's how I bought my horses, my Wabi Sabi and Hakanai, or it was done with my tools. I've basically put it all out there. So we look at, let's look at price. 4,000, the cheapest for young A LDS. Male 3 is not podiumed or 1. Has not. We'll say podium. Let's see if we can do podium greater than 0. The filters are weird with decimals. Podium rate greater than 0. There we go. Ancient Neptunia pops up again. Let's see, what else do we have here? 1130. Safa. Take a look at a Safa. 6250, A plus. Ooh. We got a lot of one of one in there. SS. Wow. Benny Vidi Vici. Yeah, 3 out of 20. I don't love. Let's see. Let's try and take a look and see if there's any opportunity here. Kosher says, when does the next season start? I always forget this and I always forget where to look. Literally a site set up with a timer. So easy, super easy. I can show you before I look up this horse. But if we look at now, go to photo finish, go home. You're going to see right here, season 14, week 3. The season will end in 11 days and 15 hours on May 6th. So right there on the homepage, and then alternatively for breeding too. You can get the breeding windows by just clicking here. So go to Asafa. And this would be a way that I would consider just in general, looking for like value horses. Like what's cheap on the market? Is there an opportunity to run it and get something back? Let's take a look here and we'll go to Podium. It has run kind of all over, all different track types, all different types of races. All right, so fast and good. RDF makes sense. 4 and 7, so 2 there. And if you get a pop-up like that, just close out of it. It's annoying. All right, so 4 and 7. 2 races there and 1 there. Decent size, 50% win, 100%. So 1-1 podium, both of them. 4 and 7, right? Where's 4? Interesting. So, okay, so with 4. Oh, okay, so 3 races where it did not podium at 4. Take a look at 4. Fast, soft, sloppy. So racing off preference here. All non-benchmark, claiming, maiden, and stakes. And yeah, it's a stakes 2. So it looks like racing off preference and a little higher than it should be because we've got a podium 2 at 4. See what this comes up with. Claiming an allowance. So that's a 5K claiming. Okay, so very, very low claimer. And then Derby allowance, 7 horses, place second. Lead figure, very high. Yeah, so like I would consider, well, that was allowance. I wonder what allowance and like handicap would provide. Yeah, I would consider more allowance with this on preference. Looking at firm just to see what happens. Again, not financial advice, but it becomes a very cheap way to get into the game. Probably. Hey, you never know. You never know. Then we get all our new foals, Christmas in May. Absolutely. Each month is Christmas with Photo Finish. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right, well, chat, if there are no other questions, we'll stay up here for a second. But if you have any other questions, let me know. Happy to dig into it, or specific horses or strategies or breeding. I'm just going to quadruple check chat here. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and log. We've got a solid 40-ish minutes in tonight. This was good. Again, 2 new updates for those of you that came in late. I guess we'll pop in and do those soon. Do those now. Podium, setting this to true and false, comparing, seeing where horses had success, where they didn't. Allows you to kind of do deeper dive analysis with fewer clicks. Make sure you're doing a comparison, though. Just because you crushed in some at a certain distance, also look at where you didn't. What can you draw? What's the same? What's different between them? And then the other one being on the breeder board, looking at... Come on. Looking at my the opportunity rank, which is down here, looking at offspring, profit, entry, races, and again, this isn't the silver bullet, magic bullet of, hey, this is the best way to look at studs. No, this is opportunity, for potential. So again, looking at Latvia, one offspring, 38 races, has a 39% win rate and 21,000 derby profit. So again, there's a very small sample size, but that very small sample size was very successful. Alternatively, again, you have big horses like Benedict, Prime Time, Agua Egg Eclipse, Baragos, Rose of Zion in this list as well. And you're looking down, if we'll flip this ranking here. I believe it's like something like 1700. My RAM on my computer is freaking out right now. But yes, this is all sortable. So we'll go that way. Computer is struggling with the stream tonight. No problem, Foran. Whoa, 6 messages deleted by a moderator. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so you want to take a look at this horse, Go Show? Yeah, so it's currently 1177 is the max. So keep that in mind. So we'll go back to we'll go to horsepower. Let's take a look at. Yeah, also like you can just drop in horse names as well. Full of Ruptured Rain. Okay, so it is a full. What are you looking for here, Kosho? What do you think of the full? I linked on Twitter. I try to replicate origami. You try to replicate origami. Okay. Okay. All right. So for those of you that don't know, here is my horse. Origami. Look at bloodline. Here we go. All right. And I can tell you if you replicated origami or not. So we'll take a look at the bloodline. Let's look at sec. My mic was really close to my face there. Boom. And if we look at Full of Ruptured Rain. You did not replicate origami. I will tell you that right now. Take a look at this. All right, B+. Okay. Yes, this is not a replication of origami. What I'm seeing here is 13 out of 44. That could be good, especially if there's some races that weren't run on preference. So there was some potential there. Ruptured Rain at 3 out of 14. Again, could be some potential there. If you look at Offspring, don't look super strong, though. Jumpin' Stilgar looks solid. And so does Stilgar Wildcat. Let's look at Stilgar Wildcat. Tell me how you tried to replicate origami. Taco's in the house. What's going on, Taco? How you doing? Thanks for popping in. Lower grade, higher matches. You're not. Nope. That's not it. Sorry, Kosho. That is not it. But next season, I will be doing my analysis on, or I mean, I'll be racing offspring of origami, and as well as horses that were bred with a similar style. And if they prove to be strong runners, I will be sharing exactly how I created origami and what that looks like. I'll give you a hint. Origami is in the same vein as Jishin and T Money, I think. Who's Jishin's sister. Lord Grade, I think it might make a decent handicapper. Yeah, it absolutely could. Absolutely could. Taco, what is good? Thank you for popping in. Okay, let's see what else we got going on. Any other questions, reviews, thoughts? No problem, KC Racing. Thanks for tuning in over on Kick. I appreciate it. MDS 044, thank you for the follow over on Kick. Much, much appreciated. Inching ever so closer to getting that. Perfect. Okay, yeah, ruptured range. Just checking all those messages. All right, make sure I got everything. All right, chat. Well, if there's nothing else, chill, just looking at the MTG races. Nice, nice, nice. We'll go ahead and we will sign off. I will sign off for the night. Thank you all for tuning in, and I